over with synthesizers. All the stuff we've gone over the past few lessons with synthesizers apply here. I'm just showing it to you in a slightly different setup. So this is what we call, this is AudioKit Synth 1. This is a free synth. You can see the name up here in the corner, AudioKit Synth 1. And you can download it. It is a free download from the App Store. It's a great synth and it's free. So that is like that, free synth. Oh, let me just stop that from playing. So I just want you to look at this, what we've got going on over here. So over here in the upper left-hand corner, you have two oscillators, 1 and 2. And you can change the waveform, switch around the waveform here. And you can see whenever you touch something, it shows you what you're touching right up here. It shows you what you're touching and shows you what you're moving it to. Kashan, your name is here. You need to turn in your, you need to submit that email to get that free money. All right, you need to do that today, because if you don't do it today, you're not going to get free money. It's $1,100 and you need it. All right. Everybody, I mean, unless you don't. If you don't, cool, I'll take it. But do that today. Like, do it right now. Just stop listening to me and go do that email. It's the one that's called SHE, right? Is that right? SHEE or something like that. But do that, like right now. It's $1,100. And like I said, if you don't want it, it's cool. Sign up for it and then give it to me. I'll take it. All right? Because I can use that free money. Cash money. All right, so we have here, here's where it shows you what you're touching. So I can turn this, and if I turn this, you can hear how it changes the sound. Changes the sound around like that, okay? Down here we have a volume level for each of the oscillators, then we have a mix level for each of the oscillators as well. So here, if I turn my volume up, here, let's put this volume right in the middle. I'll put this one up here. You can't hear them yet until I turn this mix knob over here. And what you do is you just tap on the knob and move your finger straight up and down. Nice, buying a Mac with that. Cool, yep, dope, that's not a bad idea. And I can mix between the two, and I can dial in the mix with my volume levels here. So I start with them both like this, put the mix right there in the middle. Right, and here's my filter over here. So here's my filter. So we got the oscillators going into the filter. If you remember that, the oscillators go into the filter and then goes to our amplifier. And this one doesn't really have, it doesn't show you the amplifier on it per se, but it does have this volume level here, my master volume. Has my master volume right there, and then the filter. So now, once I've got this, we can apply our envelopes to things, and we can just, remember the envelopes. Over here's my amplitude envelope, and I know it's a little bit tricky to see on here because of that glare of the light. Is there like a way I can put this so there's not as much of a glare? Hold on. Maybe if I angle it this way, away from me a little bit. Oh yeah, here, let's do that. Is that better? That might be. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let's do it like this. Lock it. Here, maybe this is better. There we go. Oh, that's better. Now there's no glare. Nice. In a plugin layout, is it laid out in a way that the signal processing flows from one section to another, or is it always a random layout? It's a random layout. Geo Matreski, you're here. Your name is up here on the side of my screen. You can see in my screen here. That's because you have not, it's cool you're late, but you need to make sure right now, go and do that email to get that $1,100 of money. Your name was on a list. You haven't submitted the email, and today is the deadline. So please, 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 please do that. This app is called Audio Kit Synth 1. But Geo, please go take care of that email right now so you get that money, okay? Geo Matreski, not Geo Linnea. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Sorry, it just took me a second to put you in here. You can't get into your email. Camillo, same thing. Yo, you need to go and do this. Letter thing. Surfy, you don't. Wait, Surfy. Yeah, you are Camillo. Camillo, the email from about the free money that I've been talking about for the past few days, like since last week. The email that I sent you an email about. Geo, you can't get into your email. You need to figure out how to get into your email. You did. Oh yeah. No, Geo. I'm not Linnea. Sorry, Geo Linnea. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Geo Matreski. Sorry, there's two Geos that literally just came on right now. And then Camillo. Yeah. No, you're good. Damien, what's up? So let's see here. So Camillo, there's free money coming at you. You need to get that money. You need to get that money. It's go do that DocuSign thing. Whoops. Please do it. It's $1,100, and you want that. I promise you want that. And then Matreski. If you can't get into your email, let's talk about it. Like we need to talk about that, because if you miss that money just because you couldn't sign into your email because you couldn't remember your password or whatever, that's crazy. Now, remember, to sign into your email, you have to go through one login. And if you can't get into your email, that's a problem. Like, we need to get you getting into your email, because we've already gone through 5 weeks of class, 6 weeks of class, and if you can't get into your email, it's kind of a big deal, actually. So let's get on that. All right, cool. So that's great. I'm talking to everybody, and I'm hoping y'all are going to get on that stuff. I never did hear back from Kish. Did Kishan talk to you back? Oh, you did. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Said bet. You got the one login. So from the one login, you should be able to go to your email. But let's talk during Zoom. Okay, we're going to go to Zoom earlier than we have been in the past. So let's go to Zoom and let's talk in there. Okay, let's talk like voice to voice, not like with this crazy lag that happens through Twitch. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's talk about it. But we need to talk about that. We need to get that today fixed, and we can, but we need to do it. And this is really important, because today is the deadline, and it's not our deadline; it's the government's deadline. So if you miss it, there's nothing we can do for you. Like, literally, nothing we can do. So let's not miss it. All right. Let's not miss it. This is not my laws. It's the government's thing. So, all right. So let's continue talking about the synthesizer here. So here I've got the envelopes are right here. Remember, we talked about envelopes and LFOs and stuff like that. So we have our envelopes here. Here's our amp envelope and our filter envelope. And the amp envelope, we have our attack, decay, sustain, and release. And so if I wanted this to be like a kind of a plucky sound, what I can do is I can turn my sustain all the way down, and you can see the envelope here, and I can turn my decay up. And over here, turn that up. And you can hear how it kind of makes the sound go like that. Let's see here. Can I make this into a monophonic sound right there? Yep. Like that. So we can do that. Is that the she really fun? Yes, it is. Yep. Check those boxes, buddy. Check the boxes. Yep, it is the she really fund. Make sure you check the boxes. All right. So you can hear we've got the sound, and the sound is kind of cool. Right? But we can do a little bit more with it. And we can take this filter envelope over here, and we can mess with the filter envelope. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to turn the filter envelope amount up. Turn my filter down. There we go. And you can hear how it affects the sound. Now, this is not like the best sounding synth in the world. It doesn't, I feel like it's not really affecting it as much as I want it to. Maybe that's just because of something I'm doing. I feel like it should be doing more. And I have the synth. I don't really mess with the synth that much. But with this filter amount up that much. But you can hear it's putting a little point on the beginning. Right, and we can dial that in like that. Antonio, I don't know. We're trying to get things open a little bit. I mean, we did talk about this yesterday on Zoom quite a bit. I feel like you weren't maybe not part of that conversation. I don't know. Were you on the Zoom yesterday? Oh yeah, you missed the Zoom part of class yesterday. Yeah, we talked about that a lot yesterday, so I'm not really going to go into it right now. But we did get into that yesterday. Make sure you come over to the Zoom part of class and let's talk about that stuff. All right, so we have that there, and we also have some other stuff over here. We can dial in our FM modulation. To change that sound even more. You know, get some cool stuff. Now, down here we have an octave button. So we can change the pitch of things. Whoops. We can show the keys more. We can hide the keys down here. All right, let's talk about it later. About your quiz. Let's talk about that quiz later. So this is a basic layout of the synth. If you want to change some stuff around over here, you can change. See how I'm changing the oscillator up here, oscillator number 2. We can also dial in a sub oscillator to get that low sound in. And it's a sine wave normal. You can change it into a square wave. We can also pull up our ARP. We can pull up effects, sequencer here. We have a sequencer. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do with this thing. You just have to get in here and kind of play around with it, read the instructions and mess around with it. So how to get the sounds into Pro Tools, I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. And we're going to talk about how to get the sounds into Pro Tools, okay? I did talk about that before, just so you, and also there's a couple of videos up that talk about that, but we'll go over that step by step here in just a minute as well. So this is the one, the Audio Kit Synth 1. This is cool. This one's always free. It's good. It's not my favorite. It's good. It's not amazing, but it's free. And it's a good place to start learning about this stuff. So that's one there. Another one that is free right now, it's not always free, but I just checked, and maybe one of y'all want to go and check for now and see if it's free, if it's still free, is the Moog Model D. Where is my Model D? in here, so it's right here. Yeah. So the Model D from Moog. This is made by Moog Music. This one sounds fantastic. It works just exactly the way you'd want it to work. And they were running a sale that it was for free, and it might be ending at the end of May. I'm not really sure. I just read an article that said it was still free, I just went and looked on the App Store on the computer on the website and said it was free. So I guess it's still free? I don't know. But this is a Moog synth. This one has effects. I'm going to turn the effects off for now. There we go. And we can put you can use this to adjust your octave here. And this one you can hear already. Oh, it's still free. Awesome. Great. Yeah, so download that onto your iPad right now. Get it for free because it's not gonna become unfree at a later date. It's gonna stay free. And so if you download it now, you'll have it. So this is an awesome synth. And this one, it's just what we've been looking at. It's exactly the same as what we've been looking at over the past few days. So here we have our oscillators and our mixer and our filter over here, and then our loudness section. Now, let me just make sure I address this question. Somebody asked me earlier if, it's Andre, is in a plugin layout, is it laid out in a way that the signal processing flows from one section to another, or is it always random layout? And the answer is, it's always a random layout. Who's talking to me that you just did the, oh, Camilo, right? You just did the survey. Great. Survey, well, it's not really a survey, right? It's you check the boxes. But yeah, good. You just filled out the form. Good. I'll ask Robert about the people I have checked here to make sure everybody did it, and then Gio Matreski, just make sure that we talk later about getting you logged into your email, okay? Because that's a big deal. So the answer to your question, Andre, is it's kind of case by case. It really depends on if like what how the manufacturer makes the synth. Usually it makes some kind of sense where it flows. It has a flow to it, but that flow might not always be 100% apparent. But usually it's like oscillators on the left, and then you have your these, and then like that. So it works. It usually does a pretty good job of being. Synthmaster 1. Yeah, is that one free as well? I never downloaded that one. We'll come back to it. The Synthmaster 1 is pretty good. I have the computer version of that. People were talking about that one for a while. It's also not my favorite synth, but it's a good one. So anyway, so here's our Moog synth. And we have our oscillators here. We have the filter over here and like this. So if I wanted to go ahead and let's go and see here. Move my. Here's this here. So I got this. And now let's play. There we go. Okay, cool. So it just has this one little area for me to look at. These are the main parts that are important. We can see here. If I push the play button, it gives me everything really, this kind of important stuff here. And now I can mess around. Let's go ahead and turn these off. So here's just one oscillator. I'm going to turn my filter up like that. Turn my sustain, my attack time, my sustain level up, and the amount of contour. There we go. So there's just a basic, whoops, wrong direction. Okay, basic sound. There we go. So, David, all this stuff should just be on the App Store. Just go to the App Store and get it. So the one it's also in the chat, the Twitch chat, Synthmaster 1. And I'll make a note of that actually here. I'm going to put it up on the screen. And you can see my screen. I have the chat here on my screen as well. So cool. All right, so so you can hear I've just got like a basic basic sound. If I change my waveform over here, I can change different waveforms. And this is what you already saw me kind of messing with. Kind of messing around with this stuff before. And what I can do is I can say, okay, let's make this kind of like a plucky sound where it starts hard and kind of dies off over time. So I'll go over here, I'll go to my sustain level. Now it's just a click. You can hear that, it's dying off. Let's make it, right, so you can hear that there. Oh, the Synthmaster 1, it's not free anymore. Okay, it may have been free before. So get this one here. The one that I've got here is the Model D. There. The Moog Model D. I just put that in the chat. Moog Model D, that one should still be free. And then also the Audio Kit 1. Thank you, Ashton. Awesome. Yeah, I know, the latency. I know. So here we got this. So you can hear that sound. Now let's make it so it has a little pop on the beginning. So what I'll do is I'm going to use my filter here for this. The contour is over here. I'm going to put my contour up, put my filter down. Now you can hear it gives a bump. Gives a bump on the beginning of it there. Let me just turn my glide off. There we go. Cool. So you got that little sound there. Now I can dial in my synth over here a little bit more. Go. Let's put this one up as well. There we go. Cool. And you can hear how I can mess with that. Mess with that sound and get this really cool sound here. And there you go. Cool. All right, so that is what's up with that. So that's a basic synth there. Now let's take this and talk about the synths in GarageBand. All right. And again, I'm kind of going fast through this because this is literally all the stuff we just talked about the past couple days, all the stuff that's in your notes, but I'm just applying it now to iPad synthesizers. So I'm going to close this one down and let's go look at GarageBand. So here's GarageBand. Okay, I'm going to make a new session here. Let's go over here to hit the plus sign, and we're going to start with a drum pattern here. We'll just use the smart drums. And I've got this, and we'll use the house drum machine. Cool. I just hit the awesome. Cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stop that. Go back to the beginning here. Let's hit record, and it should record this in. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Hit play on this. Now we have like a little drum kit, a little beat. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this plus button over here, and we're going to grab a synth sound. I just put the drum beat in there so we'd have something to mess with over here. So with this one here, this is Alchemy, and it's just a basic kind of layout of the synth. There's not a lot of stuff for you to kind of mess with on here. It's just basics. But you can still get some really great sounds out of here. There we go. And you got a few different things over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mess with this here. I'm gonna move this around and hit this button right here in the middle to choose what sound you want to play. So this is like where you choose your preset. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to use, we're going to get a lead sound, and we'll just use a analog mellow lead. So there's like the classic sound here, and you can hear there's effects on it. Right, so I got these down here like this, and I'm not sure of how to turn the, I just want to get rid of the effects, and I always, oh, there we go, there's my delay, there we go. Alright, cool. So what we've got here, if we look this way, so over here we can choose the sound. So every sound has like settings in it, and you can use this part here to kind of move them around, and if I move them, you see how the knobs are moving. And then, come on. There we go. So I can move these around, and now over here you can see right here we've got the envelope for our amplifier envelope, and over here we've got like our cutoff is for the frequency, and then probably this is a frequency envelope here a little bit. All right, so we move this in. And so we can mess with the sound. And you can play with these parameters right here. Now, you don't have total control over the sound. It is dope. It's a really cool synth, and it comes with GarageBand, and GarageBand is free. So you don't have complete and total control over the sound, but you have enough to change the sound and have fun with it. And that's really, really important. So the main thing I want you to notice about this is the cutoff right here. This is what's going to make the sound darker or brighter. See how that's making it darker? Right now, if I want to go over here to my amp envelope, so I got this here. And I can mess with this here. This low, what this low is basically probably for low pass, probably. There we go. Let's turn this up here. Let's turn the decay. There we go. And you can hear how I've been able to change the sound, and if I want to record it in, just go in here and Right, and if, okay, like, oh, the only part I really like over here at all is like this part over here, and I can just take this, and double tap it, go split, delete, wait, split, 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 split. There we go. Drag that down, over here, delete this part here, move this one over here, boop, 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 like that, and then take this one and loop it. There we go, cool. So now, and I also want to make sure that I change my settings, turn my quantize on. Turn the volume down a little bit. Cool. I want to add like a bass sound in here. I can add a bass sound in here. And let's go, actually, hold on, stop. Let's go into our sound library and check out some of the other sounds we've got in here. You can go into your sound library and download a bunch of free sounds and stuff like that. So let's go over here and download the, so I've already got it. Let's see here. Bass house packs. All right, well here's this here. Let's listen to the preview. Wow, that's, okay, fine, let's get that. So I'll download that. Boop. We got that. And now we should I always forget where to go with this thing to get these sounds into our that's not what I want. There we go, recently downloaded. Other synth pads, synth classics. Right, so we can go in here and get some of these, mess with these basses. Ah, here we go. So here's where you can see which like kit it's from, which set it's from here. And most of these are probably going to be Alchemy synths because the Alchemy stuff is just, that's where it is. That's the main thing. Let's see here. Deep Abyss. There we go. And you see how I put in like smart piano, and it doesn't give me nearly as many things to play with. I just got, okay, Jelani. Yeah, we got you. Somebody had mentioned about that you were around, but all right. So there's that. So if I want to go in here and put in like some kind of a bass sound, let's deep thump bass. Cool. Let's do that there. Let's do a different kind of key. Yeah. Cool. So we got that. Hit record. And so if you spend time with this, you can get this like kind of going right in and getting like, deeper and deeper and deeper into that. So that's the basics of how you can get through all this stuff. So again, you add a new track here, you go into here and you say, I want some sounds or whatever, more sounds, all this stuff over here. You can look at these different sounds in here and you can see what sets they're from. Go over here to this part here. You can go to the main categories, what kinds of sounds you wanted, what did you download recently, stuff like that. Chromium. Oh, here's where your packs are. Here we go. Here's our packs that we have. So you have these different ones here. Gozadera, Latina, Chromium Fray, edges and angles. And it shows you what type of sound it is. And you can like say, okay, I want that sound, I want this sound, I want the other sound. And you just click on it. And it pulls it up in here. And you may want to just mess with the levels over here on the left. And you can get to that by, you can turn this on and off here. See how you click on the little thing here? You can see stuff. You can go back to this, hit the back key. You can see on the left-hand side your kind of info view for each track. Cool. If I want to play it. Right, and you can just hit play over here. So there's a lot of latency going on. It's like hard to play this because there's so much latency going on, but that's what you can do. If you have your headphones plugged straight in, you won't have as much latency as what I've got going on right now because I'm actually coming through the computer and all that stuff. So mess around with it and see what's going on, and play around with these synths. You can get, like I said, the Model D is a free one, the Audio Kit 1 is a free one, and you got stuff in GarageBand. Now, if I have something I want to record, let's close that. Let's open up. I'm going to open up. Here's one that you have to pay for. This one's cool. It's the Odyssey stuff, the ARP Odyssey. It's a good classic sound. I'm going to just pull up some presets in here. Let's just go through the presets. So let's say I want to record that sound into Pro Tools. Okay, so this is what Najima was asking about earlier. So how do we get this going into Pro Tools? Let me just go over here and get this set up like this. Okay, so here's how we get this sound going into Pro Tools. First of all, and again, this is review, so if I miss anything, you can kind of go into the one of the older lessons and look at this. But basically, what we want to do is in the audio MIDI setup, make sure your audio MIDI setup here is set for your iPad, is down here is set for enabled. And then your Pro Tools aggregate, make sure you click that the iPad is as a source. So use the iPad, there's my iPad right there. And I'm going to go into, I'm going to go to Pro Tools. I'm going to make Pro Tools quit. And I'm going to quit all these other programs here so that there's not too much going on. And I'm going to go into Pro Tools. And we're just going to call this an iPad record. Click on this. And in here, hold on, I'm just going to set this screen up so that I can actually see what y'all are saying to me. Over here's that. Boop. Put that there. Cool. There we go. Awesome. So now, in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a new track. Let's make it a stereo audio track. Give it a name, iPad record. And on my input here, we should be able to see it, but I'm not sure that we will. So you might have to go to go to Setup IO, to make sure that we're good. So go to your input here, and you can see these are kind of like switched around. So let's just move these around like this. And because I noticed that Pro Tools was kind of doing that kind of before. Whoops. I want to make a new path. Mono input path, channel 1, boop, like that. And move these around because they were incorrect before. When you have your iPad connected to your computer, it should be in the audio section of the audio MIDI setup. It's got to be connected to your computer through the cable. So we're going to call this one iPad. Left, right. This one's going to be mic. If I click on this, oh here, let's just call this iPad. There we go. Cool. All right, so I got this here. Just make sure my buses are set to the default. This is good here. You know what? Actually, I'm going to make, if you have an audio interface, because I won't be able to hear this. If you have an audio interface set up, hold on. Let me go back to my aggregate. So Steven here, check this out. If I open this up a little bit more. Down here on the bottom, on the left-hand side, see how I'm in the window, audio, show audio devices? Down here on the bottom, your iPad should show up here and it should say enable. It have a button next to it. Click the button that says enable. Here I got this, and I'm also going to go to my Universal Thunderbolt. I'm going to make this the first one in my list here. Come on. Boop, like that. So my iPad is going to be, it's all wrong. Hold on a second. Mic 1. I'm just kind of going to name these real quick. Mic 1. Mic 2. I'm not going to have these named at all. All right. This is going to be iPad left. This is going to be iPad.r. It should work. I'm just going to get rid of all these names as well. And I don't keep it set up like this because I'm just teaching this stuff. I don't usually have this set up because for Ableton Live you don't need to worry about it like this. But cool, so this should work. Let's go back over here to Pro Tools. Yes, save and close the session. Okay, restart Pro Tools. Pro Tools is very, very picky about this stuff. It doesn't like it when you start messing around with things. Let's open up our recent iPad record. Go to my setup IO. And so now, let's hit default here. I hit default for all of these. Defaults. And I believe that my iPad is inputs 10 and 11. Yeah, so everything's off. You can see how everything's messed up here. It's nothing is right. All this stuff is just wrong. So we're gonna move this stuff over like that. And let me see, 1 and 2. Make sure microphone is number 9. So I'm actually going to delete all these here. It's just a giant mess. Okay, delete. There we go. Here, let's hit OK. And if you... Oh, I see. Here. There we go. And you might be going, wow, Tony, this is really complex stuff. And you're not wrong. It is complex stuff. But when you get to this level of things, if you're trying to do this kind of stuff, then you're going to be dealing with some pretty complex situations. I mean, this isn't beginner stuff. It's getting your iPad into your computer. It's not the beginner stuff. This is more advanced. So now I got my input set up And let's just pull up my, here, I'm going to put this down here in the corner so I can just see what's going on with stuff. So now, my input 1 and 2 would be my mic 1 and 2. Mic 1. Actually, let's make this a mono. Let's make a mono input path. Mic 1. Boop. Now I'm going to get rid of this one. So mic 1 is here. Put this one in here, and we're going to go, another one here would be mic 2. And basically what I'm doing is I'm telling Pro Tools how to assign its inputs and outputs. And I don't need anything. I've got mic 1, mic 2. Let me get my external mic, my Mac mic. And we're going to put that on number, why did you put that there? That doesn't go there. Okay, we're going to put this on number 9. And I'm looking it down here to see like what things are. This is the Mac mic, yep. Cool, I'm not going to touch it because I don't want Pro Tools to freak out. We got that Mac mic there. And then here's my iPad. And this is going to be a stereo track, stereo file. And I wanted to auto-create the subpaths just because. Hit create, and now this stuff is going to go over here. Left and right, go over to 10 and 11, because that's what we are down here, 10 and 11. Now it's weird for input 10 to be left and input 11 to be the right. That's very strange, but that's because I have a single path right here on number 9. And I just have to deal with it. It just is what it is. So the outputs, I'm not going to worry about the outputs, the buses. Change these, that's fine. A lot of stuff in there I don't really need, but whatever, I'm going to ignore it for now. Now when I go to my input, my interface has only the iPad. That's interesting. I'm not sure why. Oh, it's because the only one. Okay, I know why. It's because all my other paths are mono. So this path here is a stereo path. So if I make a mono path, I would have more stuff to choose from. So here, if I zoom in on my screen, you can see I got mic 1, mic 2, my Mac mic, and then iPad dot left and dot right. So I could have more going on with this. And if I go over here and I say my Mac mic, check 1, 2, check, check, you can see my signals going up and down right there with that one. Cool. I can close this. Boop. And then if I play my iPad, if I go over here and hit my M, there we go. So now you can see I've got my sound there, and if I hit record, you know, whatever. And now if I go over here, we can see I recorded that, and I can play it back. Wait, can you all hear that? Just making sure. Hold on. Can you hear? Wait, can you hear my Pro Tools? Can I hear my Pro Tools? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, you can hear that. So this is what I just recorded in Pro Tools. Zoom in. Cut that. Get rid of that. Go over here. And there you go. So now I've got that. Now, it's not lined up to my tempo. If I want to line up to my tempo, what I would do is I have to make a new click track. Okay, and let's slow this down a little bit. Let's slow it down to 100. And I'm going to take my tempo because I've got a delay going on in here. And with the delay, oh, let me go back to my iPad. There we are. So with my iPad, with the delay with these things, you got a lot here at the time. I'm just going to turn on my tempo sync. Where do I put my tempo in this thing? These are like things that I never do. In clock here, tempo. Here, tempo. So I'm gonna set my tempo here to 100 as well. There we go. Boop. Cool. So now, nice. So now you can hear the delay just changed. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I'll set this up to record. Was I not recording? I was not recording. Oh, because I'm not in Ableton Live and I hit the record button. It doesn't work like that. That's annoying. Hold on. Jordan, are you on this list of names? I don't think so. Nope, you're not. Okay, cool. Man, I'm like having to think about 5 things at once right now. It's a lot. Okay, so one more time. Let me record that one more time. Let me actually record it this time. Hit record. Hey. There we go. All right, so there's my sound. And we can see it's like all over the place off right now. So what I'll do is I'll just move this over here. I'll cut this beginning part out. There we go. Put this back into grid mode. Let's listen to it. Okay, and you can hear how these are kind of off right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use my tab to transients to cut each one of these, and I'm going to drag them over to make them correct. I'm going to line them up with my grid and put them right here and make them correct. And this is going to, like, you know, some of them are going to sound fine, and some of them are going to have a little bit of a weirdness to them that I'm going to have to go back and fix. But let's just do this for now. Okay, cool. So you can hear that there's some little gaps and stuff like that between some of these sounds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, a couple ways to take care of this. One is I'm just going to drag this one back a little bit and do a little bit of a crossfade on it. Just go to the end. Go to the end. This one also has a gap. I'll drag it back and do a little bit of a crossfade on it. And that'll fill up all my gaps here. Cool. Let's go back to the beginning. Everything else should be fine. The important part is you don't change where this one, like, you don't move this one around like this. That's the important part to keep in mind. Okay, cool. And one thing we're going to do here is we're going to fix the timing on these ones here. So in order to do that, remember, I have to put this into Elastic Audio. So I'm going to go over here and change this to Elastic Audio. I'm going to change it to polyphonic because I just have a lot of stuff going on. Let's go into analysis mode to see where everything is. That looks pretty good there. And I'm just going to go over here to my warp mode like this and change my grid to 1/8 notes. And I'm going to move stuff around a little bit. So this one here, let's see. I'm going to lock it in place, right? Let's lock it in place like right over to here. Oh, actually, you know what? Yep, here we're going to lock this one in place. And now, by double-clicking, and we're going to move this over, boop, 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 like that. And this one here, oh, hey. Wait, what did I do with the other one? Okay, I didn't want to move that. Hold on a second. Okay, now I double-click on this one. I'm going to double-click on this one as well. Actually, I'm going to wait to double-click on that one. I'm going to move this over like that. And you know what? I'm going to make sure I lock this last one in place here so it doesn't move. Because I don't want, I mean, and this is the thing is, like right now we're kind of getting into some deeper stuff, but we talked about elastic audio before, and I got to make sure everything's anchored down correctly, so it's not moving around and stuff like that. Because I'm basically what I'm doing is I'm battling against my sloppy keyboard playing, and it's you know, and the reason why there's such sloppy keyboard playing is because A, I'm not a great keyboard player, and B, it's really hard to play keyboards on an iPad when you got a lot of latency coming through. So I'm just battling against a lot of things with this, right? And that's no fun. But anyway, here, we'll move this over here. Put a thing in there. Move this over to here. Move this one back. Move this one forward. There we go. And now let's listen to this and see how it sounds. Cool. Now this one over here, this one that's good. Overall, it's good. This one moved. I'm not sure why that one moved. Let's just put that back to where it was. Let's start from right here. Cool. Okay, cool. And if I was being super, super picky, I would change this one as well, because this one here at the end of it doesn't sound quite right either. And I think that's because of just where the stuff is hanging out here. Yeah, here I just made it weirder. Yeah, there's like still a little gap in there. So probably I would use elastic audio on this one as well. So what I would do to this, if you just want to see it, so it might be a good idea to show that. So what I would do is I'd take this one, just pull this one back to where it is, and what I've got here is this loop. See how there's that gap in there? So what I would do is I take the end of this, and I'm going to put a warp marker right here. And I'm just going to drag this one over. There we go. Drag that back. Cool. Now let's listen to it. Hey. Now it sounds much better. There's like no gap in there anymore. So if we listen to the whole thing, cool. So if you wanted everything to be like in time and all that stuff and fitting, and so you can have this really cool little loop, you'd have to, that's what you'd have to do basically. So depending on your keyboard skills, that can be easier or harder. And if you want to go a step deeper, actually, let me just show you this as well. We can go a step deeper because I can actually have my iPad come up as a MIDI instrument. So we'll go over here to MIDI. I'm under Setup, go to MIDI. Devices, MIDI Studio. We should be good. Hold on, let's open up MIDI Studio. iPad is there, cool. So what we do is we make a MIDI instrument. Not an instrument, but a MIDI track. And I'm going to make an aux channel. iPad in, my iPad input. The interface be my iPad. And on my MIDI track here, set the output to go to my iPad. And now, I can actually play it like a real device. So if you have a controller of some kind, you can actually, I mean, now it starts to get like more real. So now I can play with this, and I can mess with my sounds in here and say, all right, here's our filter. Right, now if I want to record this, let's mute this other stuff over here. So now I can go in here and I can say, all right, I can record. Right, so I got my little line right there, and now I can do all my MIDI stuff to it, right? So I've got this, option 0, pull this up, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Here, just do 8th notes, and now I can clean it up. And now if I wanted to record it, I can fix it in MIDI first. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why? Oh. Huh. I was using my actual MIDI controller as well just then. Okay, hold on. There's this one here didn't get the message that it was supposed to be 2 notes. Okay. You're supposed to be 2 notes. Cool. We can mess with this little bit here. Loop, 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 loop. You're supposed to be looping. Cool. And now I can go over here and record this in. Oh, I see what happened here. This one's that one's off. Sorry, it's just not acting the way I thought it should act. Cool. All right. Loop. Cool. And if I want to record that, what I do is I just bring another audio track in here. Let's call this one ARP pad bass. This. And I'd connect these up here from this one here. Let's just use a send. Use bus 1 and 2. Go up here like this, make it pre, so this doesn't affect it. Go to input, is going to be bus 1 and 2 like that. Hit record, I don't need to monitor it really. So now, this, oops, sorry, hold on a second. Let's try and do that. There we go. And what I'd like to do is I want to record this like in a loop. So I'm going to turn my loop record on like this. And let's do that one more time. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm so used to using Ableton Live for stuff that I'm not used to producing stuff like this in Pro Tools anymore. There we go. Now, as it's playing, yeah, you can't have your click track on now, unfortunately, because there's just too much latency between it going around to stuff. So now, as it's playing, though, what I can do, I can go over here. I can use my ADSR here. I can mess around with stuff here. It's got a good, and it's got a good sound. And I just mess with it as it's kind of right. And so now I can go in here, and I'd have to mess around with the timing on this because the timing is really off between the iPad and the computer. And the reason why it's like that is because basically we're using the iPad as an actual synth right now, and this synth has a lot of latency in it. So let's go to the end over here. Come on, go to the end with me. Move that. Oh, hey, stop. Move this over like this, like that. There we go. Cool. And let's. Now, there we go, and I just fixed it latency. Right, cool. Albatala says, "Are you using Ableton?" No, this is Pro Tools. I use Ableton. We're going to be talking about Ableton Live next week, but. This week, there was a question earlier about how to do the stuff, how to bring this into Pro Tools. So that's how you bring it into Pro Tools. I hope that helped, Najima. That's who you were asking about that. As you can see, it's dope. I mean, there's some really cool stuff going on. But this synth here costs money. This one, the ARP Odyssey, I think it was like $20. I'm not sure. Like, I tend to buy a lot of synths for my iPad. With the hope that it did. Okay, cool. Yeah, I tend to buy a lot of synths for my iPad, hoping that one day somebody will make a DAW that I like to use on the iPad, and it hasn't really happened yet. There's a couple out there that I'd like to get my hands on, but they're also like $50 or $100 or something, and I just don't want to pay that. So that's what's up. Let's do this. Let's take a break now, and after the break, let's go back over. Let's go to Zoom after this. Okay, I'm going to stop.